I was shocked by this, man. The backstory to it. The backstory. The massacre began over Memorial Day weekend after a 19-year-old black shoe shiner was accused of assaulting Sarah Page, a 17-year-old white elevator operator, at a nearby Drexel building. Okay, so that's what started it, y'all. That's what started it. This white girl accused this white elevator operator, because back in those days you had to have a person in the elevator to operate it. Elevator didn't just go up and down. You didn't just press buttons. They had an operator in there to make it go up and down. So this white girl, 17, accused this black guy, 19, who was a shoe shiner by trade, and that was a very profitable. Shoe shiners made decent money, depending on what, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a job. People got their shoes shined a lot back in those days. Like, it wasn't like today where people just wear tennis shoes and shit. Like, everybody wore shoes, nice shoes, and got them shined. You ever see them old pictures of all the black dudes got on suits and shit? And all the white dude, everybody wearing suits back in the old days. Everybody was wearing suits all the time and shit, and dress shoes all the time, not just the church and shit. So this guy he probably made some decent change being a shoe shiner, even though it's not like it's not like a very prestigious position. You know what I'm saying? So it's the Tulsa riot started when this white girl, 17, accused this black dude of assaulting her. He was taken into custody. A subsequent gathering of angry local whites outside the courthouse where Roland was being held. So they take the black dude into custody, and the whites gather. A mob gathers at the courthouse where the guy's being held, and spread rumors he had been lynched. Okay, so it started getting out that the white mob had lynched the black dude, even though that was just a rumor, right? Alarmed the local black population, some of whom arrived at the courthouse armed. Shots were fired and 12 people were killed. 10 white people were killed and 2 blacks. Okay? So we got to take this piece by piece. The white girl says the black dude assaulted her. They arrest the black guy. A white angry mob shows up at the courthouse, and a rumor starts that they lynched the guy, which was not true. A bunch of black people come down there and start shooting up the place and kill 10 white people. How many of y'all shocked by that? How many of y'all thought that back in 1921, niggas was all scary and shit? Niggas wouldn't show up and set it off on white folk in 1921? How many of y'all been taught that in y'all history books? That 1921, niggas was just tiptoeing around white people and scared and shit. How many of y'all learned that? These niggas showed up at these motherfuckers showed up at the court building and started mowing down these crackers. These niggas showed up at the court building, mowed these crackers down, killed 10 crackers. 2 of them were two of the blacks were killed though. As news of these deaths spread throughout the city, mob violence exploded. White rioters rampaged through the black neighborhood that night and morning, killing men and burning and looting stores and homes. And only around noon the next day, Oklahoma National Guard troops managed to get control of the situation by declaring martial law. Okay, so the whites, after the 10 whites were killed at the courthouse, the whites went on a rampage and just started killing everything black. Left 10,000 black people homeless, destroyed $1.5 billion in real estate. The reason I wanted to show you that is because it's often stated about that riot that it was just like niggas had a lucrative area where they was doing business, and white people came and burned it down. How many of y'all hit one if that's the story you heard? And I'm not saying that this is not wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to tell you what actually happened. How many hit one if you heard that niggas had a street where they had a bunch of businesses on, and white people didn't like it, so they came and burned it down? Hit one if that's what you heard. You know what I'm saying? Niggas had a niggas had a lucrative place where they was doing business, and white people got mad because niggas was had a bunch of stores and a bunch of businesses there, so white people just came and burned it down. That's what I heard for years until recently, because I just thought that like, and I'm not saying that this was not wrong, what happened. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with what happened. I'm not saying that I agree with what happened. I'm not saying that I agree with the white people. I'm not saying what the white people did was right. They shouldn't have went around and killed all them black folk like that. They should have, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what they should have did, but whatever. But what I'm saying is that I had been told that black people had some businesses. It was a district down there with a bunch of black businesses, and the black people was doing their thing, making money, doing business, and a bunch of white people didn't like it, so they came and burnt it down. That's what I heard. Yeah, everybody was wrong here, but it just seemed like it's just funny that the real story, is so much different than what you told. Like, it's more complex. It ain't cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like the story ain't cut and dry. The story is complex. It's more complex than that. You know, the story is more complex. You know what I'm saying? It's not just cut and dry, like you learned. Some niggas had a business district. They was thriving. White people seen it, didn't like it, and burned it down. And you know, the thing about it though, white people know this. They know what happened at the Tulsa riot, but they can never say it because you'll be seen as a racist if you was a white person. Because you know, like the way black people see history is from, you know, what we're told. White people see history from reading. So it's like a lot of white people know that this is what happened, but they could never say it. They gotta just keep their mouth shut and be like, yeah, y'all had a business district and we just came and burned it down because we was mad at y'all because y'all was making money. You didn't see what really happened, Birds? Like I said, a white girl accused a black guy of assaulting her. A 17-year-old white girl accused a 19-year-old black guy of assaulting her. The black guy was arrested and taken to jail at the courthouse. The jail was at the courthouse. An angry white mob came down to the courthouse and was gathering outside of the courthouse. And a rumor started that the black guy who was arrested had gotten lynched, but it was just a rumor. So a bunch of black people came down there with guns and sprayed up them white folks and killed 10 white folks right there on the spot out of that angry mob. 2 of the blacks were killed during the melee. Later on that night, the whites gathered up and started going through the black neighborhoods and killing all the black people and burning down all their shit. And that was wrong. I get it. That was wrong. They shouldn't have did that. They should have called the police or something. They should have let the police handle it or whatever. But what I'm saying is, and they should have never gathered outside of the courtroom where the guy was, where the suspect was being held. But what I'm saying is, what I was told my whole life was that black people had a business district. It was thriving. White people didn't like it, so they burnt it down. That was the narrative I was told. You know what I'm saying? You said they were at a contentious courthouse. You think there would be cops already there. Yeah, but I don't know if it was cops there. I'm sure it was cops there, but when them black folk came down there, man, they came down there, they wasn't playing. Black folks had heard that the suspect had been lynched before he could have a trial. And they came down there and killed all them white folk. They came down there and killed them white folks up, man. Wow. Check this out. The riot was covered by national newspapers and reported a number of death varies, okay? So, the Tulsa Tribune reported that 68 black people died and 9 white people died. But then they said 176 black people died. And 21. And then they said 21 black people died. So nobody knows how many people died. The Richmond Times Dispatch said 85 people died. The New York Times says 77 people died. So no one knows how many people died. The Oklahoma Department of Vital Statistics count put the number at 36 deaths. 26 black people died and 10 white people died. Okay, so it was at the time it was misreported. At the time everybody was reporting it. They was reporting hundreds of deaths. That's not true. What ended up happening was at the end of the day, the 10 white people that got killed at the courthouse died, and then the whites came back and killed 26 black people. So you got a total of 36 people died. All right? Yeah, his nickname Dick Rowland, man. Dick Rowland, man. That nigga name was Dick Rowland. He was a shoe shiner. Like I said earlier, shoe shiners wasn't prestigious, but it wasn't illegal. It was illegal. It was a legal hustle. It wasn't like he was selling drugs or nothing like that. But it wasn't a prestigious position. Do you know that's where the term shines come from? How many of y'all know that's where the term shines come from? Like David Carroll, when he called niggas shines, because that was a job that black folk did a lot. The vast majority of the shoe shiners in the old days was Negroes. Okay, because you'd be on the street and you just had your little rag and your polish, and guys would come sit down and you shine their shoes. It was a job predominantly held by black dudes. That's why the term shine. That's where the term shine come from, because they used to call them shines. They were referred to as shines. And Dick Rowland was a shine boy. Dick Rowland was a shine. That nigga Dick Rowland. The Tulsa race massacre started over Dick Rowland. God damn you, Dick. Dick, whether you raped her or you was just with or that was your you done started a whole bunch of shit. Either way, nigga. Either way, Dick Rowland. Either way. Whether you didn't do nothing, whether you didn't do nothing, even if you didn't do nothing, Dick. Even if you didn't do nothing, Dick. Cause Dick said he did. Dick was the original didn't do. I didn't do nothing. Okay, Dick. Even if you didn't do nothing, you with this white girl caused a whole bunch of people to die. Dick Rowland. That nigga Dick was rolling through them white girls. Dick Rowland. You said they don't have a Dick Rowland statue? They might. Dick Rowland. AKA Diamond Dick. I shit you not, yo. I shit you not. I shit you not. AKA Diamond Dick Rowland. This nigga name was Diamond Dick Rowland. I shit you not. I shit you not. Diamond Dick Rowland. That nigga did it, man. That nigga raped that girl, man. That nigga assaulted that girl, man. That nigga assaulted that girl, man. Diamond Dick Rowland, man. Say nah. That nigga name was Diamond Dick Rowland. God damn it. God damn it. Okay, here you go. According to conflicting reports, the arrest was prompted after Rowland tripped in an elevator on his way to the segregated bathroom, and the white store clerk reported the incident as an assault or rape. How many of y'all believe that? Ones and twos. Ones and twos, y'all, quick. Ones and twos. According to conflicting reports, the arrest was prompted after Diamond Dick Rowland tripped in an elevator on his way to a segregated bathroom, and the white store clerk reported the incident as an assault or a rape. How many think that's what happened? Who think that's what happened? This nigga tripped up in the elevator, and the white girl said he raped her. I think this might be Dick. This might be Dick's version. Man, I just tripped up. Man, I tripped in the elevator, man. Because we know this ain't the white girl's version. The white girl ain't tell him he tripped up, and I told him, and I said he raped me. That ain't what she ain't go to the police and say that. Yeah, black guy tripped in the elevator, and now I'm telling y'all he raped me. She ain't do that. Here's his version. So Dick tripped in the elevator. So you in the elevator, he tripped up. I don't know how you trip in the elevator. I don't know whether he's pacing. What was he in the elevator pacing or something? Was he? How long of an elevator ride was this? He tripped in the elevator, and the white girl said he raped her. You said Diamond Dick's lawyer said that. Diamond Dick, man. That's a hard one to believe, man. I want to believe this too. I want to believe you, Dick. Contrary to common belief, I want to believe Dick. I can't buy that one though. I can't believe that you tripped up in the elevator. What, you tripped up and your dick fell in? your fly was down. She ain't having one no drawers. She was wearing a skirt with no drawers, and your fly was down, and you tripped and fell on top of her. I mean, I want to believe you, Dick. Real talk, Dick. I want to believe you, man. I so want to believe you, Dick. I can't buy this one though, Dick. I can't buy this one, Dick, man. Let's see. Roland's birth name was Jimmy Jones. So this nigga was 19 and he was already on his second name. This nigga was 19 on his second name. Roland's Diamond Dick Roland's birth name was Jimmy Jones. It is not known where he was born, but by 1908, he and his two sisters were orphans living in Veneta, Oklahoma. So he was an orphan. Jones was informally adopted by Damie Ford, an African-American woman. In approximately 1909, Ford and Jones moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma to join Ford's family, the Rowlands. Oh, so he got his name from the Rowlands, the family he was adopted into. Eventually, Jones took Roland as his last name and selected his favorite first name, Dick, as his own. So this nigga name ain't even, like, nothing about this story is the way you thought it was. Nothing about this story, everything you thought about this Tulsa situation is everything you thought about this Tulsa story. Damn, everything you thought about this Tulsa story is turned on his head. Ain't that some crazy shit? He said he was Otis Wilkerson by the time he turned 35. You know, by the time he was 50, he was Ernest Robinson. Willie Jackson. That nigga died, Willie Jackson. His tombstone read Willie Jackson. Oh my God. So this nigga, man, he was an orphan, so he's okay. This nigga, they don't know where he was born. He was an orphan. Black lady adopted him. They moved to Tulsa. He take the family name. And then he gave himself his own first name, Dick. Roland attended the city's segregated schools, including Booker T. Washington High School. I bet Booker T. Washington was a rough school, boy. Because we know for one thing, can I get an amen on this? Them niggas was slanging iron back then. Them niggas was not afraid to slang some iron. Them niggas was letting them things go back in 1921 in Tulsa. Can I get an amen? Them niggas was letting them things blow back in 1921 in Tulsa. This ain't no new thing. This ain't no thing. Them niggas was letting them things blow. So I'm assuming Booker T. Washington High School was a pretty rough school, man. I'ma just assume that Booker T. Washington was a pretty rough school. He dropped out of high school. Surprise. He dropped out of high school to take a job shining shoes in a white-owned and white-patronized shine parlor on Main Street in downtown. As Tulsa was a segregated city where Jim Crow practices were in effect, black people were not allowed to use toilet facilities used by white people. So black people couldn't use the same toilet used by white people. There was no separate facility for blacks at the shine parlor where Roland worked. Oh, it's white people's fault. You see how they set it up? I'm not saying that segregation was right. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying segregation was right. Segregation was wrong. But they still set it up to blame this shit on white people. Look, as Tulsa was a segregated city where Jim Crow practices were in effect, black people were not allowed to use toilet facilities used by white people. There was no separate facility for blacks at the Shine Parlor where Roland worked, and the owner had arranged for black employees to use the segregated color restrooms on the top floor of the nearby Drexel building. What do you think the colored bathrooms look like? What do you think the colored bathrooms look like? So that's why he had to get on the elevator. He had to get on the elevator because he couldn't use the bathroom. He couldn't use the white people bathroom. So he had to get on the elevator and go to the top floor and use the colored people bathroom. So if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have been on the elevator and he wouldn't have tripped up and the white girl wouldn't have accused him of rape. On May 30th, 1921, Roland attempted to enter the Drexel building elevator. Although the exact facts are in dispute, according to the most accepted accounts, he tripped and, trying to save himself from falling, grabbed the first thing he could, which happened to be the arm of the elevator operator, Sarah Page. How many of y'all believe that? How many of y'all believe that? I want to know. I mean, I'm interested. I'm curious. I mean, and you don't have to say what you think I'm gonna like. Say what you feel. Don't tell me what I think. What you think I'm gonna be happy with. How many of y'all believe that? She said you want to believe it. Me too. I want to believe it. I want to believe it. That, you know, because of segregation, he couldn't use the bathroom downstairs, so he had to go all the way to the top and use the colored bathroom. And if it wasn't for that, he would have never had to get on this elevator and none of this would ever happen. But it is interesting. How many of y'all find it interesting that the elevator ain't segregated? Why they ain't make niggas take the steps? Ain't that crazy? Why they ain't make niggas take the steps? Why this nigga get to use the elevator? Don't nobody find that a little strange? Why they let this nigga use the elevator? You think all this Jim Crow shit, they'd have made niggas take the steps? That shit don't make no sense. Why this nigga get to use the elevator? Why they ain't say, why that nigga even had the notion to get, why that nigga wasn't sitting there like, man, I wonder what it's like being on that elevator. I'd never been on an elevator before. Boy, oh boy, Jesus, why, it sure be nice to go up north and take an elevator ride. I can't wait till I go to Chicago or New York and get to ride an elevator, because they don't let niggas on elevators down here. This nigga couldn't use the bathroom, but they don't let him on the elevator. That shit don't make no motherfucking sense, man. They probably ain't let you niggas use them bathrooms because y'all niggas ain't flushed the toilet. Y'all niggas probably was pissing on the seats. Niggas was probably pissing on the seats and not flushing the toilet. That's probably why they ain't talking about Jim Crow. Ain't no fun. I don't have Jim Crow shit. They ain't let you niggas use the bathroom because you niggas y'all niggas was trifling. Nigga pissing on the seat, not washing their hands and shit. That was like, man, this shit, man. Can't share this bathroom with you niggas, man. But you get on the elevator, though. You can get on the elevator, though. That shit just don't make no sense to me. You niggas can't do shit, but they gonna let you get on the elevator. So anyway, white people wouldn't let him use the bathroom in the business he was working at. So he had to go to the so they forced him to go to the top floor, and then he went on the elevator. Okay? So he gets on the elevator and he trips. And trying to save himself from falling, he grabbed the first thing he could. Post that link, mods. He grabbed the first thing he could, which happened to be the arm of elevator operator Sarah Page. Startled, the elevator operator screamed, and a white clerk in the first floor store called police to report seeing Roland fleeing the elevator. Oh, so he ran. So when he tripped, so this is an interesting story. He's getting on the elevator. He trips. He grabs the first thing he could find, the first thing to save his fall, which is the arm of this white girl. Now remember, this Jim Crow, this segregation, white people, all that shit. Never mind, we not even gonna think the fact that niggas showed up at the court building and killed 10 white people on the spot. Let's forget that, okay? Because this Jim Crow starting to look really motherfucking sketchy. This Jim Crow shit looking really sketchy. We not even gonna get to the fact that after he got arrested, niggas showed up at the court building and killed 10 white people on the spot. Let's not even get to that. Let's leave that alone. It's segregation. You can't look at a white woman. White people, you can't look at a white woman. He gets on the elevator. He trips and falls. Instead of falling to the ground and getting his black ass back up, he grabs a white woman to break his fall. She screams. A white clerk on the first floor hears her scream, sees this guy running from the elevator, and calls the police. The white clerk reported the incident as an assault. So the white girl, okay, so the white girl's innocent now. The white girl then reported as an assault. The clerk, the person who heard her scream and seen the black, and seen Diamond Dick running. Okay, so white women, y'all off the hook. White women off the hook. White women off the hook. All the white woman was doing was standing there. Allegedly. Now this is us taking this story for a fact. He trips up. He about to fall. He see a white woman. He grabs her to break his fall. During segregation. The way I learned it was that if a nigga was about to fall off the Empire State Building and a white woman was there, he wouldn't grab a white woman. That's what I learned. I ain't even gonna lie. That's what I heard. I heard that if a nigga was about to fall off the Grand Canyon and the only thing that'll save him was grabbing a white woman, that a nigga would be too scared to grab that white woman. That's what I heard. But Birds Nation, you said, did she defend him? This story is bullshit, man. This version of events is bullshit, Birds Nation. You can't tell that by now? This is bullshit. He tripped up, and instead of falling to the ground and getting back up, he grabbed a white woman to break his fall. Birds Nation. Birds Nation, come on, man. You can't tell that this is bullshit, man. He getting on the elevator. He trips and falls on the elevator. What I think probably happened was he got on the elevator and maybe assaulted the girl while the doors was closed. And the girl screamed, and then he ran. I don't believe this shit about he was getting on the elevator and tripped. Instead of falling, grabs the white woman. She screams. He gets spooked because she screams, and he just runs. That shit is, you gotta, it's a lot. I want to believe it, but that's a lot, man. That's a lot, man. That's a lot, man. That's a lot, man. That's a lot, bro. So Diamond Dick Rowland was arrested the following day. So remember, he didn't go back to work. This nigga just ran out the building. This nigga ain't even go back to work. Why he ain't go back to work and tell the people at his job, look, man, I tripped up I was in the elevator, I tripped up, I grabbed the white lady arm. It was an accident, but whatever. She screamed. I ran, came down here because, I didn't want to be up there and all that shit. That nigga just left the whole building and ain't even go back to work. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That nigga sprinted out the whole building. That nigga didn't even go back to work. That nigga just jetted. You tripped and fell. Grabbed this woman to break your fall, which caused her to scream. She screamed because this white woman screamed because you grabbed her, try to break the fall. Think about that. All he did was trip up and fall. And he reached out to grab the woman to break his fall, and she screamed. That's what made her scream. And then her screaming made him take a full sprint out the building and run home. Now remember, this is at a time where some niggas showed up at the court building and seen some white people talking shit and killed 10 of them on the spot. So his argument that, well, I was scared because white people, I don't know, man. Y'all niggas wasn't too scared of them white people. Y'all niggas was not that scared of them white people. So Rowland was arrested the following day with the headline, "Nabbed Negro for attacking girl in elevator." Now, how many of y'all know that that's what black people were called back in those days? How many of y'all know that Negro was not a derogatory term? Hit one if you know that. Hit one if you know that Negro was not a derogatory term until the 70s. When did they start calling us blacks? They started calling us blacks in the 70s, and then African Americans in the 80s, right? Black started in the 70s. Who's my historian, man? Who knows when they started calling when they switched from Negro to black? Because Negro was just black and Spanish. When did they start calling us? When did they switch from Spanish to English? That's what I mean to say. When did they switch from Spanish to English? Because Negro means black in Spanish. Was that the 60s or the 70s? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I don't want to have to look it up, man. But I think it was the 60s. I think it was the late 60s, after Martin Luther King. Because I think they still called us, we were still called Negroes in the 60s. That's why you have the Negro College Fund, the United Negro College Fund, and all that shit. I think it was the 60s. I want to say the 60s. Let me see something. When did they start calling blacks? Let me see. When did they start calling black people Negro? When? Oh yeah, they used to call us color. Changing of racial labels from color to Negro to black to African American. Let me see something. I want the 70s. Yeah, I think it was the 70s when they stopped calling us Negroes and shit. It says, okay, until the late 60s after the Civil Rights Movement. Okay, Negro was accepted as normal until the late 60s. So, yeah, it was after the Civil Rights Movement. So, the only reason I'm saying that is because them calling this guy saying "nab the Negro" in this news report, right? Them saying "nab the Negro," this is not a racist thing, because some of y'all might think that this is racist. That the newspaper read "nab the Negro." You know what I'm saying? The newspaper saying "nab the Negro," that would just be normal. Black people called themselves Negroes. That would just be normal. That would be nothing out of the ordinary and nothing offensive, saying "nab the Negro." So that day in the Tulsa Tribune, it said "nab the Negro," and the newspaper claimed Rowland had attacked Paige and torn her clothes. So her clothes was torn. So this nigga tripped and fell. According to him, he tripped and fell, and he grabbed her and tore her clothes. What you think, Bird Nation? What you think, Bird Nation? What you think, Bird Nation? Her clothes were torn. What you think, Bird Nation? Her clothes was torn. This nigga was getting on the elevator because the white people wouldn't let him use the bathroom downstairs. All he does is trip up. Of course, he tried to break his fall. Trying to break his fall. He sees a white woman there. He grabs her to break his fall, rips her clothes. She screams. He runs out the building, and the next day they catch him. Okay, so the case against Dick Rowland was dismissed. Okay, we got a PayPal donation. Let's see what we got going on. TC, another one. Damn, bro. Thank you, man. Salute to you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Everyone who believe, oh, unicorns. This from you? Okay, damn, my bad. Damn, I'm doing the same one. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me see something. Okay. Okay, I did that wrong. Hold on, let me see something. Oh, that's you. Bird, that's you. That's you. Okay, my bad, my bad. Salute. And salute to TC from earlier. So, do you believe this? What you think? What you think, unicorns? You believe this? Where are we at? You don't believe this. You don't believe that the racist white people made him use the bathroom upstairs. So what he did was, instead of he was just he instead of taking the steps, he got on the elevator. He trips up when he getting on the elevator. As he trips up, he looks for something to break his fall. Only thing there is this white girl. So he reaches out, he grabs this white girl to break his fall. That rips her clothes. She screams. He gets spooked because it's a white girl screaming. And of course, if a white girl screaming and you a black man and you in the vicinity, you in trouble. So he gets spooked. He runs and just leaves the building. The next day they come pick him up. Your name ain't up there, dude. Oh, alright. Oh, damn. My bad. I didn't see it written in small print. I thought I was just showing this part. My bad. Don't worry though. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you, baby. You are alright. These people ain't gonna be mad that you said you don't believe his story and try to make you lose your job. Here, you ain't gotta worry about that. Here, unicorns. Ain't nobody gonna be mad because you said something. Cause you said, I don't believe that nigga story, man. That sound like bullshit. They ain't gonna try to call you a job and get you fired. No, I'm not. I feel you though. I'm just messing with you. I feel you though. No, I respect it. I'm just saying. That's how them other channels do. You say something they don't like, they want you. So the case against him was dismissed at the end of September. The dismissal followed the receipt of a letter by the county attorney of Sarah Page in which stated she did not wish to prosecute the case. So he left Tulsa after she didn't prosecute the case. After she decided not to prosecute the case. So he said, so the burning of Black Wall Street is completely different story. So the burning of Black Wall Street is basically a myth. The truth is a completely different story. Yeah, it's an interesting story. They should have made a movie about that, man. That'd have been a great story, man. That was very entertaining, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Like, that flies in the face of everything I was told. I was told that niggas was balling out there in Tulsa. Niggas was balling. Niggas had a Wall Street. They had a Wall Street down there, man. Them niggas made a Wall Street. And white people seen that shit and they was like, you know what, y'all? Let's go burn that shit down. That's what I heard, man. That's what I heard, man. Yo, he wasn't lynched. No, he wasn't even lynched. Not even after they killed 10 white people. So this is the thing. Not only was he not lynched, but because he got arrested and white folk went down there complaining, 10 white people were murdered on the spot. They went down there and killed 10 white people on the spot. Them niggas came down there. Just think about it. Them niggas came down there and killed 10 white people at the court building. Not in the woods, not back in the swamps. They went down to the court building and killed 10 white people. Boom. Listen, man, a lot of things are strange. Like, I just find it strange, a lot of things that these niggas will have the audacity. Like, if it's supposed to be segregation, and that it is an angry white mob, why would any black people even go up there, period? You dig what I'm saying? Like, if it was an angry white mob, why would any black people go anywhere near an angry white mob? Why they ain't just say, look, man, that nigga on his own, man. That nigga was an orphan, man. We don't even know that nigga, man. That nigga ain't from Tulsa. Why they ain't even be like, why they wasn't like, man, that nigga ain't even from Tulsa, man. That nigga orphan, man. Some family adopted him and brought him here, man. We don't even know that nigga like that. Why they say that? Why they go down there and kill 10 white people because of that? The woman who adopted him wasn't even from Tulsa. Her family was from Tulsa, but she wasn't from Tulsa. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeffrey. That's a good point. You said the Diamond Dick was crazy, respected in the hood. He was a savage, right? I believe that. I definitely believe that. I believe he was a hood. He said they was waiting for that. And then why was he allowed to use the elevator? Why was black people allowed to use the elevator, man? That's what I want to know. I want to know, like, how come segregation? It's segregation, but you get to use the elevator. I think that this segregation was bad, but I think that it wasn't that bad. As I think black people had a lot more rights. I just look at the way black people act today. Like, black people, black people ain't going for that shit. They not just gonna sit back and take all that shit like that. Niggas ain't taking all that bullshit like that. Niggas probably was like, all right, we won't use your bathrooms, we won't use your water fountain, but motherfucker, shit, we ain't taking the stairs. Fuck that shit. We ain't taking the stairs. Oh yeah, they was shooting up juke joints like shit back in them days. Boom boom rooms and all that shit. But yeah, it's just crazy, man, to see like how different this story is than what we was taught, man. This story mad different than what we was taught. Mad different. Oh man, if camera phones existed back then, do you understand if camera phones existed back then? If camera phones existed back then? Yeah, that's what I learned, Pedro. That's a great statement. That's exactly what I've learned. That's exactly what I thought for the last 40 years. I probably learned about this when I was a little kid. So I say about 35 years. For the last 35 years, I thought exactly what Pedro Braun just said. I thought exactly what Pedro just said. For the last 30 years, that was what I thought had happened. No more, no less. Like, that was it. I ain't think it was nothing else to the story. That's exactly that. I can't say it better than that, Pedro. That's exactly what I thought had happened. That's exactly what I thought had happened. No more, no less. Rich black people had their little Wall Street area, stocks and bonds. Niggas was trading stocks and bonds. Niggas was down there. Niggas was trading stocks and bonds and had their old Dow Jones Industrial. Niggas had their old Dow Jones. And white people said, man, you know what, man? Let's go burn that shit down. And that's it. That's what I thought happened, man. Right, with the remember them old glasses with the little one, when you had the one glass? They had with the chain on it, the little one eyeglass with the and niggas was wearing suits and shit, walking around with top hats. Niggas walking around with top hats and shit, and suits, and trading stocks and bonds. And white people was mad and said, man, we can't have niggas doing this shit, man. And just went over there and killed all of them. The Brown Jones. Niggas had the Brown Jones Industrial. NASDAQ. We had, they had NASDAQ, we got NASDAQ. I literally thought that's what was happening. I ain't gonna lie, I thought niggas was out there trading stocks and bonds and mutual funds and stock portfolios. Hedge funds. Niggas had hedge funds. And white people was like, you know what, man? Fuck that shit. I don't like that shit. Niggas ain't supposed to trade stocks and bonds, man. That's only for white people. And this was the aftermath, man. Had no idea it started because a shoe shiner, a goddamn shine, allegedly tripped up and fell in an escalator. And while he was falling to the ground, he grabbed the closest thing he could find to break his fall, which was a white woman. And while he grabbed her, he ripped her clothes off. And she screamed and he ran home. I had no idea that's how it started. and then they caught him the next day, and angry white mob formed down at the court building, and a group of niggas came down there and mowed the crowd down and killed 10 people in cold blood in broad daylight in front of the court building. I had no idea that's how it started. And then, of course, the white folks, you knew they wasn't going to take that shit back into segregation. So they formed their little mob, came back, and burned down all the black areas and killed a bunch of niggas. And then the National Guard was called in the next day, and the shit was over. And the girl declined to prosecute the case, and the dude left Tulsa and lived on with no problems. Dude just went on with his life. He left Tulsa and went on with his life. And I had no idea that's what happened. And next year is the 100-year anniversary of this shit. Next year is the 100-year anniversary of this shit, y'all. Next year is the 100-year anniversary of this shit, y'all. No, unicorns, that's why it's important to read. I should have read about this shit a long time ago, unicorns. I've been hearing about this shit. I told you I grew up pro-black. I grew up in a family of pro-blacks and shit. I grew up like a Dr. Umar school. I went to Dr. Umar school and shit, like one of them type schools when I was a kid. I grew up like that, man. My parents pro-black, my mother pro-black, my stepfather pro-black. I grew up like that. All my mother boyfriends was pro-black. My mother fucking married an African. She met an African in college and had a baby with him. And went to Africa and had a baby with him. Which is me. So I grew up with all this shit. And in all them years, I never took the time to read about that shit until a couple days ago. I never took the time to just read about this shit till a couple of days ago. And I've been hearing about this shit all my life. And as I told you, I thought it was niggas was down there trading stocks and bonds and walking around with suits and top hats and selling their own Dow Jones Industrial and shit and all this shit. The white people was like, that. Burn that shit down. And killed hundreds of blacks. I didn't know it was only 26 blacks. I thought it was hundreds. I thought hundreds of black people died that day. I didn't know it was 26. I thought it was hundreds. I thought they killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blacks. I didn't know it was 26. I didn't know any white people died. I just thought, you know what I'm saying? Dick rolling. Yeah, that's true. They try to make motherfuckers, they definitely try to make, damn, I didn't know none of this shit. All I knew was niggas was walking around with suits and top hats and them little curly mustaches and the old school glasses, the old school unit glasses, trading stocks and bonds and hedge funds and stock portfolios and And the white people got jealous and burned it down. They killed hundreds of black people. That's what I thought, man. I ain't know Jimmy Jones. Yeah, I ain't know Jimmy Jones. He the original Jim Jones. Well, Jim Joneses have caused a lot of black people to die, haven't they? Jim Joneses have caused a lot of black people to die. That's a fucked up name. That's in the annals of black history. Jim Jones is one of the worst names in the annals of black history ever. God damn. Diamond D's Jimmy was so good, Becky had to tell the other whites about it.